Currently, everyone is excited over the Disney drop that's going to be happening at the weekend. But that means that a lot of things are selling off for a lot cheaper than they have over the last few weeks. Today, I'm going to talk to you about if it's the right time to buy right now to make the most profit, what you should be paying attention to, and why. So let's get started. Welcome in everyone, my name is Andy and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come and watch this video on the channel. Just before we get going, if you are enjoying the content and you want to support me further, you can hit that subscribe button down below, and if you want to support me even more, you can join the membership. The Disney drop is happening on Saturday and we got that announcement a couple of days back. And we were told they're going to be lenticular cards, something every single one of us searched up on Google as to what that was, because I didn't have a clue and I know a lot of you are the same. But they are going to be releasing on Saturday. We're not sure the edition sizes just yet. I will be doing Inside the Vault when it comes to this sort of thing once the Medium article does drop. We're getting the likes of Goofy, Donald and Minnie all coming within these lenticular interactive cards. It's definitely going to be an interesting time to see what the market's doing, but again, it's taking the same patterns as it has before, and I'm going to actually talk to you on why maybe right now is the best time to buy in to make the profit that you're looking to make and actually take advantage and start to understand this market even further. Usually what happens when some form of big announcement occurs is that a lot of people get excited for what's being dropped. They get their hopes up that they're going to get the drop when it actually releases, and therefore sell off some of their collectibles that they were maybe holding on to and didn't really care too much about at that time. Therefore, they sell off lower than they often would. More people have the same thought. They see the price shooting down and therefore they join in on that and shoot the price down even further. This can cause quite drastic retractions very quickly. And we've seen some of the collectibles, even from last night, since this announcement, dropping in prices quite quickly from, say, things like 250 to 190 or even 50 to 40, all depending, of course, on what the prices are when they actually start. You're not going to have something drop from 50 to 10 or something like that quickly, but once you get up prices, the price drops quite drastically because people can get more gems for the NFT they already own. This is completely common, and as soon as big announcements happen, a lot of people do sell off for a lot cheaper than they often would, purely on the basis that they think they're going to get the drop or they want to pick it up on the secondary market. Because they've now seen what they're going to be, people are getting more excited for what they are, and as soon as the Medium article comes out as well, I'm guessing there'll be some others who will do the exact same. If we see something on Veve as well saying about the upcoming drops, people who are maybe not on social medias will get excited too and could sell off even more. This lowers the price further in the market, and this allows people to get liquidity for what they're wanting to be purchasing once this Disney drop actually happens. Now, as this is the case and people sell off things for cheaper, going for the stuff that are going to be coming out this week, then once that happens, the majority of those people don't actually get the drop. And the majority probably won't even be able to afford all the things that they're wanting to once the market is opened. Therefore, they start to buy into things that either sold off or wanted at different times. Now that the market has stopped, the drop has happened and they didn't manage to get it. This is what then causes a sort of market surge where people buy back into what they had sold previously or different things that they wanted at a higher price than when it was at the low. This makes them lose out even more from what they sold before, don't actually get the drop, and are then buying back in at a higher price than they did previously. People want to put their gems to work, and we've been seeing a lot more gems being purchased and not actually that much change in the market. I presume there's a lot of people waiting for certain things like the migration and this drop that's going to be coming out, and maybe some of the other bigger announcements we're going to be getting in the next few months to actually take advantage of the gems that are being purchased. They often have to go somewhere, and people who are waiting on the sidelines are probably thinking about what to pick up and what's best for them. Because we're having so many new people on this platform, maybe people are a little bit confused on what to buy, when to buy, and are a little bit scared of all these price fluctuations that happen so quickly that they're probably just holding off at the moment to see what goes on and maybe what's the best move for them. This can as well, when people are buying back in, cause a massive shock in supply. If there's a lot of people who buy back into something they've always wanted, they believe to be a grail or something that will be a long-term plays for them, then FOMO can kick in for other people. They see the price rising and the supply lowering quite quickly and therefore get quite scared and buy in, again causing that surge in the price, telling it to go higher than ever before, and people can get left holding the bag or having to wait a long while before they make any sort of profit, if that's their aim anyway. This is where it leads me on to why potentially this could be the best time to buy out of any other time that you'll get. Now, it's not to say you won't get this chance again. You'll get this chance quite a lot, but I'm trying to help you understand why the times between the drops happening and after the drop is going to be the best time that you're going to actually do this. So as of right now, we talked about what's happening. The Medium article hasn't dropped yet, but we have got the announcement that Disney's coming. A very big drop for that, just because it's Disney as a whole. People know what Disney is. Seeing the price of some of the Disney Golden moments that have already shot up from what they were originally at. This means that people are very excited for it, and therefore sold off a lot of their collectibles, or some of their collectibles at least, for a lot lower than maybe they were willing to just last week when the prices were surging. This again can be due to FOMO and for wanting the liquidity to actually buy into these new interactive cards that are going to be coming at the weekend. And because of that, a lot of the prices are significantly lower than they were only a couple of days ago, purely based on the fact that a drop is happening on Saturday. And this does happen quite a lot, and the pattern tends to follow itself, especially when big drops occur. But for Disney, we saw it for Marvel, we're seeing it for Disney again, and we saw it for some other things too. But this is how people react. They panic when things come out, they want to get the gems for it, and then when they don't get it, they buy back in. So your time right now, you have this opportunity where people are selling off for quite low, and by the time Saturday and Sunday come around, those prices might actually take quite a surge as people buy back into what they weren't able to get previously and had actually sold off in order to get the Disney stuff. Got the announcement last night telling us what was coming, but we've not got the Medium article yet, which I presume we'll get on Thursday. By the time this Thursday article comes out, I reckon there might be even a little bit more of a dip in the market, like we've already seen in the market from last night, before it starts to find its foundation again before the drop on Saturday. After the drop happens on Saturday and the market opens up, people realise they weren't able to get it and therefore are wanting to buy into other things that they're seeing on a deal right now, because things have been lowering due to the Disney drop. Once that is over, people will be FOMOing into some of the things that they sold off before, or some other things they wanted that they now see as a deal because they can't afford the Disney stuff, and therefore buy back in, causing shocks in supply, and people actually FOMOing into these stuff. Unless we get another massive announcement on Saturday or Sunday for something coming the week after, this can cause quite a surge in the market, with a lot of people buying and spending their gems on the things that they're wanting. However, if we do get an announcement on Sunday or Saturday saying that there's another massive announcement coming, this can keep the market quite low as people are keeping their gems or actually selling off even further to get liquidity for whatever that drop may be. What's my plan for all of this? You know, I've told you about the market fluctuations and potentially why it could be the best time to buy in. Well, as of last night, I decided to put my money where my mouth is. Sort of on a small scale, mass bought some things from the Marvel Mighties. They'd shot down over 15 gems from where they were at, maybe even 20 gems. I bought some of the other Marvel Mighties with the FAs like Captain Steve Rogers and more. Decided to buy in and use most of my gems to get things that are on a low right now. I plan to sell those off after the drop has happened on Saturday to see where the prices are going, maybe in the next few days after that, to then actually buy into the Disney stuff. Now, I can make a video if that actually works for me and if it actually goes to the plan that I'm hoping it goes to. It might not, but it's something that I'm wanting to test out a little bit more and actually give you the raw data of how it works and maybe how you can take advantage of some of those times where you may not see the advantage being taken. Other thing that makes me want to do this further is because when things have been out for longer, their price solidifies and stays quite strong for where it's at. So yes, the Marvel Mighties took a little bit of a dip because everyone's selling off to try and get the liquidity for Disney, but the listings are still getting lower and lower as people are buying into these and holding over the long run. That means those price fluctuations aren't going to happen as drastic as something that is just released. We've seen that from the Croc and Batman that was released last week, where the prices went up to maybe 2.2k and went down to 1.5k now. There is quite a sharp increase and decrease in prices because there's so many listings that are still available as it's so new. It's the exact same as Disney. Disney are going to have a lot of additions and the most additions available on the market right after the drop, meaning price fluctuations are more likely to be aggressive rather than some other things that have been out for a while. This means you're more likely going to be able to get a good chance of getting these Disney things on a better deal now as you would 6 months from now if a big drop were to happen. Yes, those cards will probably drop if we get a massive announcement 6 months from now, but they're not going to drop the same way something would if it had just been released, because there's more additions on the market, there's more people still looking for the flip, and there's more people happy to let them go, they're maybe not at the price that they are okay with selling it at that point. That's why I decided to buy into this stuff a little bit further and hopefully make some of that profit to then actually buy into the Disney stuff maybe next week if we do get another great announcement that's going to be coming. This is a cycle that often continues with the market and how it fluctuates. So I do presume if we don't get a massive announcement coming next week for something that's being released, then these things will actually increase in price and people will start to FOMO back into the things that they'd missed out on after the drop happens and in the next following days. I'll show you what I mean just quickly with this about what my understanding is and why. So we had a high of around 80 gems on January the 18th. Now that wasn't that long ago and we've not had that much time of a shift. His price started to fall as it's completely natural as it's a retraction from going all the way from 30 to 80. Is quite a high jump very quickly. The retraction happened, taking him down to about 58. We saw the announcement that the Disney stuff was coming on January the 22nd, which is where we saw quite a dip in the market, down to about 40 gems. He took a little bit of a rise up to 60 again as he solidified himself. Now we're back down to 48. So we got another announcement last night, sort of the type of things that are going to be happening. Well, I'll show you the exact same thing with Deadpool. He shot up from around 174 gems or 140 gems to 300 gems, started to take a retraction, which was totally normal. We got the announcement on January the 22nd that Disney was coming, went from 240 to 190, and then we started to see the build up again because people were like, okay, I'll buy back in, that's a decent price. We saw the rise up to 240 again. Got the announcement last night about the lenticular cards that were coming, and therefore we saw another drop down to about 202 gems. Now this has been happening with most of the collectibles. Some of the top grails like the partners and Todd actually rose in price, but again you can watch the video on why I think this is the case. However, most of the collectibles have that dip when news occurs, especially in the beginning, not long after release. These have the most action and why I believe right now may be your best time to buy in, especially before bigger drops. You can leave the FOMO aside of the newest drop and shiny object syndrome. You may be able to take advantage of all these market fluctuations from the people who are not taking advantage when it's the best time to do so. People are going to be holding off on a lot of the gems right now to see if they can afford this Disney stuff or potentially get the drop. Once that's not the case, they may actually just buy in and then completely rise the market as people are spending their gems, FOMOing into things they didn't do previously, and therefore allowing you to make more profit if you buy in before the drop happens. But I'd love for you to let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think it's the best time to buy in right now, or do you feel you should wait a little bit more till after the drop? I'd love for you to let me know down below. I know the video on the screen right now will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.